Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we are going to do our usual Monday Ramble for the 22nd of March, although admittedly it's not usually for the 22nd of March, that's only this one, it's more the Monday Ramble as a whole that we generally usually do. I don't know why I clarified that, you knew exactly what I meant, but it's fine, let's carry on. So, I don't know why, I'm having a real issue starting this video today, this is like the fourth attempt I've made, and it's just gone nowhere every time. Let's just pile in, so, we do actually have stuff to look at, although admittedly, this is stuff that we've seen really not all that long ago. So there is a whole metric shed load of Lumineth Realm-Lords on the way. There is the Broken Realms Techlist book, and there's also a new battle tome, Lumineth Realm-Lords. So we're doing another double drop here where there are rules in Techlist, and so it's like it's basically the same that we saw last time with Warzone Caradon and the Drukhari. There is a codex / battle tome and a campaign book at the same time. Now, it is a little bit more complicated in this particular instance, because there is so much Lumineth Realm-Lord stuff, it's unreal coming out. Effectively, there is half an army on its way, which makes sense, really, because the Lumineth Realm-Lords range, whilst cool, was also, maybe, it could, I've seen a few people say it was maybe lacking in a good number of options. Can't really say that now, there's loads of options, but it does mean we now have a second battle tome 6 months after the first, and in tandem with Broken Realms Techlist. So, the reason this is a little bit different is because they've said that if you already have the current edition of Battle Tome Lumineth Realm-Lords, Broken Realms Techlist includes everything you need to bring the rules right up to date and in line with the new battle tome. So you don't need to buy the new battle tome if you've got the old one. If you buy Broken Realms Techlist, that has got all the stuff you need to be able to run all of the new units, which is I think that's an okay way to do it. I think possibly a better way to do it would be to have the stuff released in a more timely manner, so that you're not dealing with a 6-month gap between one half of an army dropping and the other half dropping, and therefore having two different battle tomes in the span of half a year. There could be all sorts of COVID-related issues that cause some sort of delay. I don't know, but this is like the sudden appearance of a second battle tome for this new army. In the grand scheme of things, new army. It's taken me back to the old Imperial Knight situation, where you had that initial codex, and then it wasn't actually all that long before you had another codex because the unit options were expanded quite significantly. But even then, I don't think that was 6 months. I seem to remember that was a fair bit longer than that. I guess the fact that you do get all of the extras in Broken Realms Techlist is one way to do it, so you don't have to buy the battle tome again if you don't want to. But it just feels a bit weird and a bit off. So you got your various different covers. I actually prefer the standard one, to be honest. I think the standard one looks better than the deluxe limited edition. Getting very over the top with descriptions there. So there's also the Broken Realms army sets. So there's different War Scroll battalions, and honestly, some of these sets look kind of cool. This one. So which one, hang on, which one is this called again? So, the Zintil War Magi. That, honestly, that to me, it genuinely feels like we could do with shifting some of these box. Compared to the others. Like, you've got a bunch of Plague Bearers and stuff there. You know, pretty standard infantry-based box. Same thing with the I always want to just call them the Ghoul Kings, but it's the Flesh Eater Courts. I would suggest kind of fairly standard looking box. Fairly standard to a point, it's all cavalry, which is maybe a little bit different, but, those three boxes are maybe not the most exciting thing in the world in the case of the mass Plague Bearers there, but that one just feels like, quick, stick things up. We've got quite a few of these sitting around, we've got to do something with them, let's stick them in a box together. Although, another part of me looks at these and just sees so much stuff that could be used for fun conversions. So it's just for a bits box purchase. It depending on the discount. No, I'm not going to do it. No, shut up. So yeah, there's a bunch of different War Scroll battalions. And shut up, chair. And there's also, this is falling apart. It's not even that old. I had to replace the old one because it kept happening, and this one is just going as quickly. So yeah, 3 of the boxes look kind of more interesting than the others. I have to admit, that one, it sparks nothing in me. It's just, yeah, that one's kind of cool, a little bit interesting, a little bit different, nice mass cavalry charge there, kind of fun. In terms of variety and kind of interesting composition, I'd say the Flesh Eater Courts looks the most interesting. But yeah, so there's War Scroll battalions and stuff, and there'll be boxes going along with the launch. In terms of the actual Realm Lords themselves, though, you've got your new battle tome there, which is it's only 6 months. What the hell? Also, limited edition book. You'll have to get in quick for those because they're going so quick, and people are scalping the hell out of this stuff. It's real bad. So who we have specifically showing up is Lyrial, Uthral, Warden of Metrica. I'm not going to try and pronounce all of these names. It is absolutely not happening. Even by the standards of Games Workshop, some of these are really, really out there. But yeah, we've talked about these models not all that long ago. I still quite like this guy. The helmet is very, very over the top, but I quite like that. It's a 2-part kit as well, so you can build that lad. But there's also this one as well, which is just a Lord Regent. So the character is Lord Regent at one kind, or you can build just a generic one in the form of this. Is that a woman rider on that one? I think they are, aren't they? It's kind of hard to tell with the helmet, but the face seems more feminine. The armor looks pretty much the same. It's the same legs anyway. Just the one leg is the same, the other leg's different. No. It's kind of hard to tell, but I feel like that might be. Yeah, I think there's a woman and a bloke. Presumably different head options. I mean, would there be different torso options if that was the case? It's kind of hard to tell, but I do quite like both of these. An interesting kind of different take on the whole Chimera thing. So we've also got the Hurricane Wind Chargers. I know he said Wind Chimers, but that's not what they're called. The leggy dinosaur boys. I know the Warhammer community guys did the kangaroo thing, like the Australian accents thing, but I still feel like they look more raptor-y than kangaroo-y. Like, the legs are totally the wrong shape for kangaroos. Kangaroos don't run, do they? They hop. That's pretty much the only thing that makes them noticeable. Hopping and being able to punch your lights out. Those are the two things that you know kangaroos for. I suppose actually the pouch as well. But in terms of they're a similar shape, I guess, but they still feel more like dinosaur-y than kangaroo-y to me. The hats, again, absolutely absurd. I'm just not a fan of the cow hats. Or is that a fox hat with cow horns? It's difficult to tell. They just don't do it for me. I like a big hat on an important lad. Big hats on everyone just make all the hats look too big. Weird hat analysis today, apparently. We've also got the Venari Banner blade. Absurdly big banner. Massively big banner. Luckily, he is bracing it on his waist there, on his hip, using that belt thing. That's actually quite a cool little feature. I quite like that. Yeah, overall not bad. Absurd banner, though. Absolutely crazy. It's just... that and the Sisters of Battle one, where she's holding like an entire construction of wood and metal and stone and stuff. There's banners, and then there's banners. So we've also got a Sinari Caligrave. Oh, God. The names are killing me. I'd forgotten what all these were called. It's a mental hat, but there's no cow on it, so I'll give them that. The lantern thing is kind of cool. The different brushes I quite like. Still don't understand what his shoes are about, though. That, maybe, I don't know, maybe I would be more inclined to like them if I knew what was going on with them. Because I don't, they mostly just look like someone forgot to trim the sprue off the bottom. That is not a good intentional look. That, yeah, I have a Stormcast Eternal that I'm about to convert into a very radical Inquisitor. Obviously beefed up with the juice, been hitting the steroids, getting a bit of that special treatment to increase the strength. And I look at that because it's got pegs on the feet, and it looks the same as this because it's not slotted into the base properly, and that's just not I just don't feel like that's a great... I don't know. Just not feeling that at all, to be honest. We also have Severith, Lord of the Seventh Wind. The cool fox guy with the cool fox guy with the bullhorns, of course. Yeah, I still quite like that. I still like it. It's funky. Amazing quiver. Excellent quiver, in fact. And then there's the alternate kit. So it looks like you put the legs on the other way, pretty much. Is that the same head? That's interesting. Oh no, it's not the same head. It's very, very similar. Well, maybe you put the tassels on a different way. Now, is it the same? Is it the same head? I think it might be. So yeah, there's Severith, and then there's just one of the other Hurricane Spirits of the Wind. So it basically, so you get the named one, and you can have your generic one if you prefer it. Yeah, same as the other one. I do like, to be honest, I quite like that system. It's a decent system, having the one kit do double duty for named characters and standard characters, because you tend to be able to hit like a nice middle ground where you can fully customise things to look just a little bit different as to how they would normally. It's good. There's also the Wind Mage with his funky clouds. I just don't like the flying bases, the flying stands. Just don't like them. Venari Starshard Ballistas. Yeah, that's still a fun unit. Again, very heavily ornamented. The old massive quiver there. Although I can't remember if we brought this up at the time when we first saw these. The way the arrows slide. The arrows, not arrows, are they? Bolts. Although, is it technically a crossbow, or is it just a massive bow? I guess it is sort of a crossbow, isn't it? Like a different... Whatever. It really doesn't matter. The telegraph poles that they're firing. The one part that is kind of let down in that model, I would suggest, is the fact that you've got to have those solid bits between the bolts. Because otherwise, no, they wouldn't slip. You could easily have it so they're resting, but I'm guessing... No, I can't even say that the gap between... Alright, so, look. I'm just rambling again. That's the whole point, but still. If you look at the big quiver thing, the big pole storage device, you can see where the bolts, arrows, whatever, kind of slide down to be able to be gripped by the guy who then reloads the weapon and then the other dude fires it. Between each bolt, there is some, like, just on the model, it's filled in. There is plastic there by the look of things. Anyway, it looks like there is. It looks like there is solid between each of the bolts, so they can't slide because there's something in the way. It's a shame that isn't open. It's a shame that isn't just a gap. I don't know how feasible it would be to make that a gap. I'm assuming it would be fine. I'm assuming that would work, because there's plenty of gaps between the arrows at the top, bolts, whatever they are. Who cares? It doesn't matter. And there's other gaps, like really small gaps between the heads of them as well. But that kind of slide shoot bit where they kind of move down towards the dude who's holding one of them, it's filled in and it doesn't look right. It's a shame that it's not just empty space there with the arrows being attached to the side of the thing instead of held in place and made to look like they can't actually move. It just bugs me a little bit because there's a lot of nice fine detail in there. I don't understand why that wasn't extended to that one section. Just weird choice. So there's also the Venari Blade Lords. I do like the what are they called? There's a specific name for them, isn't there? The flags on the back. I can't remember what it is though. I do quite like these. The swords are cool. Helmets are again a bit over the top, but kind of fun. Not a huge amount of armor on the legs. I've just noticed. Would you do armor on the legs if you were fighting that sort of position, up close and personal? I'm not entirely sure. I don't really know a huge amount about traditional armour, to be honest. But yeah, the swords look cool. The banners look cool. Yeah, overall pretty cool. Got the Law Seeker as well. Stick and Sword. Again, decent one. I do quite like these two. It's very over the top. It's very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is the thing that it brings to mind. Is it that film specifically where they run up like the bamboo fronds? I think it's that film. Very floaty, really, really floaty. It reminds me of that in a good way. And plus, if you're gonna have a massive hat like that, you might as well use it for something sensible. Is it his hat actually, or is it coming out of the back of his neck? Well, not his neck. that'll be bad. Also, the little owl is cute as anything. Then we've got the Shrine Luminor, which it's a cool terrain feature. It does look cool. I'm still mildly disappointed because I originally thought that it was only supported by the bit at the bottom of the waterfall, and it turns out there's a rock under the rest of it, which of course makes total sense because how the hell would it stay upright otherwise? But just for a minute there I was like, oh, the engineering, good lord, how did they do it? And then they didn't do it, which makes far more sense. But I still really quite like it, and I think I will end up picking that up because there's a few different things I could use it for in D&D and stuff. And even then, like, I kind of want to make like little display board things for when I'm taking pictures of models and stuff, and something like that would be fun to have in the background. So, yeah, I like it. We also have the War Scroll cards, obviously. Now, we've also got Black Library. So, this one just sort of came out of nowhere for me. So, the Vampire Genevieve Omnibus. I don't think I've even heard of this before. But I don't know how I haven't, because I've been reading quite a lot of the Warhammer horror stuff. Somehow this has totally passed me by, but it's got me curious. So I think I'll probably grab one of those. Potentially, maybe do an audiobook would be better, because I've got a lot of Lehman Russ tanks to paint. We've also got Luther as well on the way, and the End of Enlightenment, which is the Lumineth Realm-Lords, against the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, of course. Marnie's Calgar as well, issue 2 is on the way. And, oh my god, did you think we'd forgotten? I say we. Yeah, I thought they'd forgotten. Just quickly, White Scar's Primaris Intercessor action figure. It's the same, but it's white. That's literally it, there you go. But the thing is, Horus Heresy gets nothing like the rest of the Games Workshop stuff. There's no roadmap, there's no frequent updates, there's no new model reveals. I don't think we've seen a Horus Heresy model reveal since when was the last one? When was the last one? The last one was the Lion, right? When was that? Was that like August or something? It's been a long time. But yeah, these guys are finally being released. I genuinely thought... I'd forgotten they existed. And then I was looking at it yesterday, I was like, oh my god, they're a thing. I'd forgotten they were a thing. I did quite like the Terminator. I'm sure I quite liked the Terminator when I first saw him. But the fire effects have really, like, ungrown on me. I don't know what what's the opposite of it, something growing on you? They've fallen off me. I don't know. I just don't really like them now. It's just a shame, because the actual, like, power maul thing he's got is kind of cool. And I do like the brazier on the back and stuff. But, yeah, the fire effects aren't all that ideal. And I've only just noticed that the way he's got his gun slung is weird. It doesn't make... The gun is, like, slung under his shoulder plate. How does he use it? How does it, like... It's like the strap is under the armour plating on his shoulder. I don't know, it's just weird. It's just, yeah, there's just some weird stuff going on that I don't think I'd really noticed before, but now are kind of jumping out at me. The overall design of them I do really like. In fairness, the big demon skull belt is kind of cool. The all the iconography carved into the armour is it's just such an awesome thing on the Word Bearers. It's so unique, and they've done it really well. I much prefer the style of it on that Terminator armour than I do on him, though. Also, are we Cataphractii or Tartarus there? It's actually kind of difficult to tell. I think Tartarus. It's quite heavily, like, messed with, isn't it? Actually, that's kind of difficult to make the call on. No, I think it... there's no tassels on the shoulders, and it's lacking the double layer of the shoulder plates. So I'm assuming Tartarus, but I could be wrong. Overall, quite like them. But yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen those. It's been ages. In fact, let's do a quick... Let's go back to the front page, right? Let's see. Explore our games. Am I missing something? Wait, that's a bad start, isn't it? I want to explore our games, but our games is lacking something here. So, Adeptus Titanicus is missing? What? Presumably because it's Forge World specific, I guess? But so is Horus Heresy at the top there. Alright. Articles. Horus Heresy. There we go, let's go that way. So, Horus Heresy news. So we've got 18 ebooks. We've got the Indomitus Crusade continues. Okay, well, what was the last bit of news from this? This was on the 30th of January. So this is all Black Library stuff. That's Warhammer Horror. Okay, so that was for Saturnine. So that was a book. There was no model there. Elite Night Lords. So 15th of January was when the Conticar were released. The 12th they got a little preview for it. These would have been... So we've got normal Death Guard, but was there a model? I don't think there was a model for this, was there? I think this was a... Okay, so this was just Conticar again. So, this yeah, because they did the preview for the pre-order, and then 5 days later they did the Forge World stuff for Forge World Friday. Saul Tarvitz, that's the impending release, so that was not shown off as anything new there. There wasn't anything for the Sunday preview there, I remember that one. How bad is that? How can I remember specific? It's almost like we've been doing this for a while now. So this is the preview for the Warhammer Online preview. No, this is just a preview for Adeptus Titanicus. But again, nothing Horus Heresy related in that one. Well, technically, Adeptus Titanicus. So yeah, even with just a brief scan, they're just not doing anything for Horus Heresy. They're just not talking about it. There's hardly any news for it. Any news that does come out is generally Black Library related. In terms of models, Horus Heresy is just dried up to an absurd extent. Like, to the point that I'd forgotten those Word Bearers guys were even coming out. It sounds bad, but it feels like they just want it to die. I hope they don't, but the total lack of anything over some considerable time. And you know what? I would be very tempted to put that down to, like, to the issues caused by COVID and stuff. I would be very tempted to do that, except Forge World have produced quite a lot of stuff for things like Necromunda. Like, they're still supporting specialist games and stuff. They're still doing stuff for those. But Horus Heresy is just getting nothing. It's just not great. It's not great. Like, half of a massive load of Forge World's catalogue is dedicated to that game. But there's just no anything for it. No news, no upcoming releases, no roadmap, no starter set, no regular previews on models. You're waiting like a year to get hold of your Word Bearer specific Praetors, so models that are only usable for one thing. Just feels a bit off, I guess. Anyway, oh lord, that's gone on a bit. Maybe that'll be a bit better after editing. I hope so. Anyway, is there anything in there that's caught your eye? Anything that you are particularly looking forward to? Let me know in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things. Patreon, subscribe, all that stuff. Click it if you like. Don't click it if you don't want to. And as always, there's an affiliate link in the description which you can use to support the channel. It's for Element Games. It's entirely up to you. I leave it in your capable hands. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.